All right, let's jump right in. We're about to unpack a pretty wild idea, straight from the world of high-stakes finance. What if the biggest moneymaker isn't building a perfect model to predict the future? What if the real opportunity lies in betting on the fact that every single model is bound to fail? You see, this warning from Dr. Emanuel Derman, who's basically a legend in the quant world, and he hits the nail on the head. We spend all this time and brain power building these super complex math models, to try and predict the markets, but we always seem to forget the most important rule. The model? It's not the real world. And confusing the two? Well, that's just asking for a disaster. Okay, but here's the twist. This is where we flip the whole thing on its head. What if that future disaster, like guaranteed failure, what if it's not something you should be trying to avoid? What if it's actually the biggest, most massive opportunity out there, assuming you know where to look? So to really get this, we've got to start by breaking down a huge myth about how financial markets actually work. Yeah, the conventional wisdom, you know the drill. It's this idea that finance is basically just a really, really hard math problem. That if we just get enough data and our computers are fast enough, we can map out the economy like it's a solar system. All neat and tidy, governed by perfect, predictable laws. And Derman just nails the difference here. See, in physics, the rules are set. You're playing against the laws of the universe. They don't change. But finance? Oh, that's a totally different game. You're not playing against God, you're playing against millions of other people. People with emotions, fears, and totally random opinions that change on a whim. The market isn't a static thing. It's alive, and it actually reacts to what we do. It's constantly changing the rules of the game while we're playing. Okay, so if the market isn't some predictable machine, what is it? Well, the key to understanding this actually goes back nearly 100 years to a really crucial distinction. All right, so it all comes down to two kinds of randomness. First, you've got risk. Think of a dice roll. We don't know what number will come up, but we know the odds exactly, 1 in 6. It's a known unknown. Our models are pretty good at handling this stuff. But then there's uncertainty. This is totally different. This is the stuff you can't put a number on. It's the unknown unknowns, the things you don't even know you should be looking for. A sudden geopolitical event, a brand new technology that changes everything overnight, that perfect storm that nobody saw coming. That's true uncertainty. And here's the kicker, coming straight from the guy who came up with this idea, Frank Knight. He said that the real, massive profits, they don't come from just managing the predictable stuff, the dice rolls. No, they come from figuring out how to navigate that deep, messy, true uncertainty. So let's bring this idea into the 21st century. Because if uncertainty was a big deal back in the 1920s, well, today's world of fintech has basically cranked the dial up to 11. We're living in what you could call the age of cyber finance. Everything is connected, everything is global, everything is instant. And what does that mean? It means cyber risk is financial risk. The timeline for making money, it's shrinking down to microseconds. And those perfect storms, those massive shocks, yeah, we should probably just get used to them happening way more often. This is the new reality. I mean, stop and think about this for a second. We all know central banks can literally create money, right? Well, guess what? In this new world, so can a really good hacker. That's a complete game changer for what we even think of as financial security. So, in this kind of world where every model is broken and uncertainty is everywhere, how on earth do you survive, let alone win? Well, you stop playing defense. It's time to go on the offense. Okay, so the old way of thinking, that's called a model risk management. It's all about defense. The whole idea is, okay, we know our models are going to break eventually, so let's just build the strongest walls we can to protect ourselves when they do. It's purely reactive. But the new way, this is called model risk arbitrage. It starts from the exact same place. All models are flawed. But instead of building walls, it goes looking for the cracks in the walls. The goal isn't to protect yourself from failure. The goal is to find where a model is going to fail and bet on it. You're actively trying to profit from the breakdown. Seriously, it's about taking the entire idea of risk management and flipping it completely upside down. You're not running from the storm, you're sailing right into it, looking for treasure. Okay, that sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like? How does this work in the real world? It really comes down to a 4-step playbook. Step 1, you have to accept deep in your bones that all models are flawed, no exceptions. Step 2. You stop worrying about the complex math and instead you become an expert on the model's assumptions. What does this model believe about the world in order to function? Step 3. Now you go hunting. You look for the real-world situations, the stress points where those assumptions just completely fall apart. And finally, step 4. You place your bet. You position yourself to make money from the exact moment reality proves the model wrong. And as Dr. Malhotra, the mind behind this framework, says, this is all about being proactive. You have to obsolete what you know before someone else does. It's about creating opportunities by finding the challenges that nobody else has even thought of yet. You're not just predicting the future, you're profiting from the flaws in everyone else's predictions. So, we'll leave you with this final question to chew on. In a world where we know for a fact that every system, every model is flawed, is the biggest risk we face trying to fix those flaws? Or is the greatest risk of all not seeing the massive opportunity that's hidden inside every single one of them?